Did you guys hear the good news? The UK banned creationism, and now Bibles are being burned in the town square, and Kirk Cameron will be arrested on sight. Okay, just kidding. I was just imagining what the theocrats would say if this happened in the United States. But yeah, the UK has actually put a moratorium on the teaching of creationism as science in any schools and academies that receive public money. In the UK, those are known as public schools. Here in the US, they're known as private schools. It's a bit confusing, but they generally include a lot of schools that are run by religious organizations. But can you imagine what would happen here in the United States if we did that? Anarchy. I mean, students would start receiving a good science education, but also anarchy, like cats and dogs sleeping together type of anarchy. Half the Kansas legislature would immediately die from aneurysms. The Christian Broadcasting Network would start to look like CNN in the aftermath of 9/11, going 24 hours with hosts staying up all night just to report on breaking news. The South would probably secede. Okay, I guess it wouldn't be all that bad, come to think of it. But in the UK, this update to their guidelines was issued by uploading a Word document to a website with zero fanfare. Now, it wasn't a brand new, out of left field sort of guideline. Previously, they had already banned any new schools and academies from teaching creationism as science. But this updated language for one, made it clear what they considered creationism. And for another, it actually banned all existing schools and academies from teaching creationism as science. My guess as to why this is happening is that someone in the UK took a look at what's happening in the US and realized that we have private schools that have accepted government money and gone on to teach children that the Loch Ness Monster is real and proof that God made dinosaurs. And they realized that the UK is about where the US was 10 years ago in regards to creationism. And if they don't do something to stop it now, then within the decade, English school children will be studying the anatomy and behaviors of the North American Sasquatch. So best of luck to everybody in the UK. Good job enacting those guidelines. Meanwhile, here in the US, taxpayers have sponsored the opening of a new nonprofit creation museum in Idaho, where children are being taught that Noah fit all the dinosaurs on board the ark by carrying them on as little tiny baby dinosaurs. And also that only a biblical worldview can explain the existence of the moon. As a reminder, the biblical explanation of the moon is nothing, because the moon isn't even mentioned in the Genesis creation story. The scientific explanation for the moon, of course, is that two enormous planets crashed into one another, forming a debris cloud about 4.5 billion years ago, which then eventually coalesced into what we now know as the moon. But it's just a hypothesis, not like what's written in the Bible, which again is absolutely fucking nothing.